I've got a question for you. Have you been approached by a strange, tweaking, scuffed man offering you some free drugs? No? Curious. Well then, this is a thought experiment. In that moment, you might have remembered the words of wisdom from your mother and prepare yourself to utter the following. Thank you, sir. Please, may I have another? Tangibly related to my opening paragraph, today I would like to talk about Jani Neko, or the Chainsmoker Cat, because I quite like it. Chainsmoker Cat is like giving your friend's cat some catnip and watch it trash their place while you pretend to be innocent and get your sadistic kicks.
最近やけに吸い殻が多いから毎日こうやって綺麗に
I believe that beneath the layer of all these cigar butts, toilet humor and vaccine shots, Chainsmoker Cat has a lot of very humanizing aspects that elevates it to a higher tier of transgressive media, both figuratively and literally, as our feline trash goblins smoke themselves to a being so enlightened, where they even begin to believe that anime can be political.
そうだよ、間違いなくお姉ちゃんの人生で一番の偉業だよ。思いすぎやん。は?
To help us untangle all of this, I have poured myself some delicious nectar called Lafroig 10-year-old single malt, a Scottish whiskey. Incidentally, this video is sponsored by Lafroig. Nah, I'm just kidding. But it could be. Hit that like and subscribe button, show this video to your pet cat, and maybe, I can land a sponsorship with Lafroig, and I can afford aged whiskey that is too aged for Rudius Grey Rat or the President of the United States of America.
どうだ、聞いてきたか?
Ooh, yeah. Speaking of acute liver failure, the funniest thing that could happen in Chainsmoker Cat would be that the alcoholic in the group would just be Kikuri Hiroi. No cat ears or anything. It's just her like the Messi is in Bocce the Rock. Then again, if I wanted to see an alcoholic, then I'd just look into a mirror. So I wrote this part before episode 3 aired, and so I got some good news and some bad news. Bad news is that it's not Kikuri. The good news is that Aruko is not even half as bad as Kikuri, so my queen still clears. Your first few minutes with this feline menace might invoke a lot of emotions out of you. Most of them surely not pleasant, as Yaniko's crib is one of the most disgusting living spaces we've seen in an anime. Mold growing on the ceiling, trash bags filled with material so heinous that it has started to leak to the floor. And this is not even getting into the absurd amount of cigarette butts spread around the apartment and near its vicinity. Even the most rebellious smoking teenagers radicalized by smoking behind the supermarket with you will tell Yaniko to lay off with the stuff.
そんなはずないにゃ。そんなはず。煙の匂い。朝の手触り。反射する夕日。遠く響く汽笛。
Everything that I've just described is played for surreal comedy. It's fun to laugh at this cat, who is speedrunning her 9 lives, just for our pervasive enjoyment. The show doesn't pull punches, as within the first few minutes, we are not even 5 minutes into this, we are already witness a desperate search for a smoke. Cat girl side boobs, an innocent landlord jerking it off, and our cat just extruding her diarrhea that would leave a horse filled with laxatives second. Cigarettes have their filters, and the first few minutes of Chainsmoker Cat filters out those with weak stomachs. So how's Yaniko's daily life looking these days? Considering how many she has smoked today, she is on a high, but it won't be long till it all comes crashing down. Not before she has had her fix torturing our innocent landlord. When it does come crashing down, you can see the sheer desperation she has for getting her fix. Skipping work to smoke, rummaging trash for non-smoked. Actually, let's be fair, she would do with a half-smoked cigarette. Her standards have left this mortal plane, as not even dog poop gets in her way.
先っぽだけ切れば全部いけるにゃ。
It's left to ourselves to imagine if she did cut out those parts, but we both know she didn't. Yaniko actually has friends, other than earlier mentioned Aruko, that make her look modest and someone in control. there is Yaku Neko, whose drug of choice is, well, hard drugs. A criminal record will not stop her for getting her next fix. Even worse is Kaoruko, who is normal, but she makes bad jokes. Truly the bottom of Neko's society. But worst of all, if you can believe it, is Hame Neko. Because, and God forgive me for uttering these words, she is a gamer. This leads to her getting absolutely wrecked, destroyed, annihilated in fighting games, and she, like any gamer, takes it out on her arcade stick and really anyone that's within reach. As we all know, Grandmaster is not within her reach. Instead of throwing hands, she should take a note from other anime airing this season and instead just kiss girls. If you can believe it, there is a character that is not a hot mess. Yanineko's sister Imoko, who is a proper high school girl that truly loves her sister, and if Yanineko has any hope left for her, then that hope comes in a cat form, shaped like Imoko. I could definitely see a moment where Imoko has had enough with her sister and cuts ties with her, which, depending how the show plays it out, could go into a very dark places. Speaking of dark places, let's talk about one of the more darker aspects of Chainsmoker Cat, namely catgirl racism. It feels like in this nightmare society, anthro girls don't really have the same opportunities as humans. There are moments that are played for comedy, as when Yanineko joins some construction site as hired muscle, before she smokes out early, and right after that we see her taking a handy job of cleaning a vase, and the woman who commissioned her makes it very clear for Yanineko to not rub her stinky stench all over it. Which, I mean lady, I can smell how bad Yanineko stinks over the copper wires. How couldn't you when you're few feet from her? These instances are barely worth noticing, if not for two more concrete examples. First one is when Imoko's friends talk about how Imoko doesn't seem that beastly, which might raise some eyebrows. But then we get this nice little tidbit of lore that fully beast folk families do not have family name, and they can even get penalized for it, as it was the case with Hame Neko. After that point, I wouldn't even say it's subtext. It's just text. Subutext, if you will.
これ結構悪くないにゃ
でしょ。あ、先輩アイス食べませんか。今食べるとめっちゃくちゃうまいっすよ。これタバコにゃ。そうですよ。
But do you know what's the most interesting part of Chainsmoker Cat? Yeah, even more interesting than catgirl racism. When the mask drops and the show doesn't play their lives as comedy. It's really humanizing, in my opinion. While Chainsmoker Cat depicts these addictions 99% as comedy, it still sends a strong message that these cat girls are victims of substance abuse. There are small moments where shit gets rather real, and you, the viewer, start to become uncomfortable and come to an observation that goes, hey, why do I see part of myself here? That's quite scary. I'm not saying that you have substance abuse or you're a gamer, but you can feel the moment when your mind goes, why is the clown not laughing? Now I'm sad. Now the clown is holding a mirror. Ah, it seems I'm the clown now. There are a few notable examples in the first few episodes. Yaku Neko makes a desperate plea to Yanineko after Yanineko caught her taking her booster shot, and she pleads Yanineko to not leave her, because then she has nothing left. Yanineko herself has several of these. First, she runs out of money and becomes desperate for smokes, forsaking food for said smokes, trying to stop smoking and failing, or when she can't even begin to clean her room because it's so trashy that starting from anywhere would be a Herculean task. But by far, the most powerful moment is at the end of episode 1, where after Yanineko had a very lucid dream, having been diagnosed with lung cancer, wakes up and calls her sister to just talk to her. Just a moment of sheer empathy and humanity at display.
本当なんでもないにゃ。ただ少し妹ちゃんとおしゃべりしたくなったんだにゃ。そっか。
It's a really powerful scene that sold me on the show being more than just toilet humor and cat tits. Those that suffer from substance abuse are victims themselves. Nobody starts to excessively smoke, drink, eat or do drugs without something deeper going on. And the scariest part is that this can happen to anyone. And while I'm not demonizing anyone who enjoys watching these cats ruin their lives, as I enjoy watching it as well, but it doesn't stop with cartoon cats. In Finland, while not a unique subculture of streamers, we have this thing called reilumeininki, rappiostriimaaja, which means a trashy or decoration streamer, take your pick, where people stream or film themselves doing edgy and controversial actions that usually involve a substance abuse. Chainsmoker Cat reminds me a lot of this streamer subculture, and I guess I'm glad that it just feels real, instead of being real. Remember to always support those that are victims, and at the very least, don't stop to laugh at them. That's the least you can do. Even if it would be very funny to laugh at your favorite streamer's shiny, bald head.
In my Discord,
They should have.
we're tweaking that